Did you know that Apple almost filed for bankruptcy and that Microsoft was the company that saved it? This happened just over 27 years ago, and with $150 million, Microsoft saved Apple. And here's exactly what happened. So Apple really struggled to keep up with competition in the 90s, so with Microsoft and IBM at the time. This eventually led to obvious, devastating financial losses. Also important to note that in 1985, Steve Jobs was fired for a very controversial management approach, and he would clash a lot with the board. That being said, he was brought back in 97, right before the investment. Anyway, at that point, due to the failure of released products, Apple had already lost over $1 billion. They tried to make up for it with the Newton handheld device, which is also known as a personal digital assistant, which is basically a tiny laptop in your hand. But it failed to gain traction and then also led to more financial struggles, which eventually led to Microsoft's $150 million investment. So you might be wondering, why would Microsoft, out of every single company in the world, come to save Apple? While Microsoft was also struggling at the time, just not financially. The investment made by Microsoft was actually non-voting stock, which means that they have almost no say in anything that happens within Apple. But everyone believes that Microsoft took this step to save their own image. And at the Macworld Expo, Steve Jobs announced that collaboration. The agreement was that Microsoft would keep on developing softwares for MacBooks, so what we know today as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, for at least another 5 years so that they would still be making money from Apple. Microsoft's move was so strategic because they managed to still bring in revenue from Apple, but also they avoided any further regulatory scrutiny while they were dealing with the antitrust lawsuit. And to further push their image for the better, they played the card that if Apple were to fail, that they would lose a pretty significant revenue stream. In 2001, Microsoft converted the stocks that they had initially bought, which were around 18.1 million Apple shares, and pocketed $550 million, which is almost more than 3 times the investment that they had initially put in. And as we all know, today Apple is one of the biggest companies in the world. It grew significantly over the past 2 decades, with its stock costing around $6 when the first iPhone was released, and today it costs $232. Let me know what you think in the comments.